Hello learner, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to tackle just one organelle, and this is what we call a mitochondrion. Mitochondrion is singular, otherwise when it is many or plural we say mitochondria. This is a very special organelle that is found in both plants and animal cells. And first of all, we got to understand that this is a membrane-bound organelle, and somewhere here I have written a double. Double membranes. That means we have two membranes that bind this organelle. It is found in eukaryotic organisms. Learner, the term eukaryotic means organisms that have true nucleus. In short, organisms that have organelles that have membranes. Sometimes we say when an organism has a nucleus that is membrane bound, that is a true nucleus, and that is when we refer to those organisms as eukaryotic. Otherwise, the opposite of eukaryotic is prokaryotic, and this one is only in one kingdom of organisms we call Monera. So the rest of the kingdoms, Plantae, Protista, Fungi, Animalia, and all of them, apart from Monera, will have a true nucleus or will have organelles that have membranes, and an example is a mitochondrion. So you'll find mitochondria in plants, you'll find it in animals, and of course in fungi. Now the function for the mitochondrion or mitochondria are sites for energy production in the cells. Remember, energy is very important in the cells of living organisms, and they require the cells require energy for purposes like supporting the functions of that cell, also sustaining life, and so many other activities that go on in those cells. And this energy is going to be manufactured or produced in this organelle we are calling the mitochondrion. Remember, the process by which energy is manufactured is called respiration. This is where respiration takes place. So you can as well say that the function of the mitochondrion is this is the site for respiration, and respiration is the process by which energy is produced in cells in what we call chemical oxidation of substrates. So that energy will be produced there. Let us go to and before I go to the diagram, I will talk about in what form is the energy produced or even preserved. We have what we call molecules of energy. We call adenosine triphosphate molecules, ATPs. Adenosine, I think I can write the spellings here properly. Adenosine triphosphate molecules. These are the energy molecules. So once energy has been manufactured, it will be stored in the cells in these molecules, and that energy will be important in those cells. We have already said that. Now the diagram, a simple diagram from my end. I was able to just sketch just a small diagram for you and show you the parts that you can label out of this organelle. The first one here you can see is the outer membrane. Then there is the inner membrane. Between the outer and the inner membrane, we have the intermembrane space. And of course, we have the matrix. This is a fluid matrix. This is a fluid substance we call the matrix. And you expect that in this fluid, inside this mitochondrion, is where chemical reactions will be taking place. So there are dissolved salts and sugars and other suspended substances within this matrix that are useful in the manufacture of energy or in respiratory reactions. Again, one more thing before we go down to some 2 points about adaptation of this organelle. There are structures that you will find attached from the inside membrane or the inner membrane. They will be attached to the inner membrane. These structures are called respiratory enzymes. You can just highlight one here and say respiratory enzyme. And if there are many, I can refer to them as respiratory enzymes. These are organic catalysts. They are going to speed up the reactions or the respiratory reactions. That's why we call them the respiratory enzymes or the organic catalysts in these structure. So this is how simple it looks like. When you come across it in the exam, please be able to label it and make a better diagram from the other sources that you will have, and you shall be on the right track. Remember, mitochondrion shall also be discussed in Form 2 when you'll be talking about the chapter Respiration, which is chapter number 3 in Form 2, and you'll do details about the same. So you have an advantage. Please revisit this when you reach Form 2, that chapter of Respiration. Now, the last thing in this video, adaptations of the mitochondrion to its functions. Remember, when we say adaptations, we say specialization or what suits. So adaptations are just like specialities or what it has that enables it to perform its function. Adaptation number 1, we have the inner membrane is folded into finger-like projection. And I'm sorry, my learner, I forgot to show you the finger-like projections in the diagram. These finger-like projections are called cristae. The lucky thing is we still have the diagram here. So these cristae increase surface area. They increase surface area for attachment of respiratory enzymes. So the inner membrane is folded into a finger-like projection or finger-like projections. Finger-like projections we call the cristae. I want to just elaborate on this. If you unfold these two membranes, let's say you unfold the outer membrane and also unfold the inner membrane, you realize that the inner membrane is longer. So for purposes of increased surface area, so there are more respiratory enzymes attached to the membrane as you go along all the way for the purpose of respiration. So finger-like projections, we are calling them the cristae, is an adaptation. That folding means to increase surface area for the attachment of respiratory enzymes. Then the last one is the presence of matrix. The presence of this fluid matrix here. This matrix is present and is important because it is where chemical reactions takes place in this matrix. So this fluid may contain dissolved salts and sugars and other suspended substances that are crucial in the process of respiration. So the final thing I'll tell you, my learner, is that highly respiring cells, for example, in the skeletal muscles and the sperm cells will contain high number of mitochondria because they also need a high amount of energy. So thank you very much. Let us meet in the next lesson so that we can still continue talk about other organelles.